What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Wake Up Sports with your dude Shop. Episode number 2. We are here. Happy Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. We got a lot to talk about. Oh my goodness, so many things happened in the world of sports yesterday with, the trades, the World Series going on, all the Nets drama. We'll get into that. College football playoff rankings also came out yesterday. So a lot of stuff came out, and we'll cover it all. We'll get you caught up on yesterday's news and get you acclimated and being able to talk about today's conversation, because I think today's going to be a big conversation, especially around the NFL trades, around college football playoff rankings, and you want to be informed. And hopefully, we'll do that this morning. Hopefully, I'll inform you this morning about what's going on. Again, appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure you stick that follow button if you're not following the channel already. Also, make sure you follow me on Twitter at Shopmaster, where I like to talk sports there as well. So, episode 2 is here. Again, appreciate all the support. We're just going to get better and better every day. So, it may be a little bland the first couple of episodes, but I do have some things that I'm working on, especially coming up probably in a couple of weeks, so that this show starts to be a little more polished, a little more a professional looking. That's what I want. I want a professional sort of morning wake up talk show. And so we'll get there. We'll get there. I know we'll get there because I'm going to get there. And I have some great ideas. But I appreciate everybody coming through. Let's get started. Let's get started with the World Series. So, as you know, the World Series was postponed on Monday. So yesterday, the World Series happened, and I didn't get a chance to watch it. But Philly tied the World Series record with 5 homers to win Game 3. The most homers ever in a World Series game. Started off with Bryce Harper, of course, the dude that I'm rooting for. I'm still in a conundrum because I love Bryce Harper. Again, he was a former National, and I felt like they should have just paid the man. They didn't want to pay him. But I do not want Philly to. I'll restate this again. I do not want Philly to win. I don't want nobody to win, to be honest with you. I think I said yesterday, I hope it rains out for the next 2 months. But they're saying that the postponement on Monday kind of helped the Phillies, and the guy that they were facing, McCullers, he looked rusty early on, and they got to him early. So I definitely want to play a video because, again, I didn't see any of it on this video. Of course, Phillies are already up 4-0, and I think this is when Schwarber I think this is when somebody else hits their home run. Let's go ahead and take a look and take a listen.
Known to have given away pitches. Schwarber flies it to center field. McCormick's going back. He's at the track. He's at the wall. Gone! Wow! Monstrous blast! Well, that one right there is another changeup that looks like the hitters are not fooled. He was staying on that pitch the entire way.
So that is
awfully difficult to do.
There was some tipping of the pitchers.
And center cut that to center field. So
basically, they were saying that the pitcher was tipping his pitches.
Are you more and more
meaning that he was being predictable?
It would be,
and they knew what was coming.
That they don't have something on Lance McCullers one way or another. And to be clear, this is all within the rules of the game. Absolutely. This has been going on for. They get out of their own mechanics when they're at the plate. Hoskins with a drive, left field. Wow!
So back-to-back homers.
The South Philly Bombers with 5. Breaking ball, off speed, and again, all you got to do is know something is not a fastball, and you can sit middle of the plate, and Hoskins was all over. His 6th of the postseason, the 5th for the Phillies tonight. A dream for the Phils.
It's got to be a good feeling when you can just do that to a pitcher. So they say the Phillies tied a record for the most home runs in a World Series game, belting 5 in a 7-0 win over the Astros in Game 3. All 5 runs came off the starter. McCullers for a record most homers surrendered by a pitcher in a World Series game. Here's what they said though. He's a guy that we saw at the end of the year. So to give you a little bit of backdrop, Philly did play. The Astros actually hosted Philly in like the final days of the regular season, and they faced McCullers, and McCullers kind of beat him up. Kind of had a good game, so they kind of knew what kind of pitches he likes to throw and everything, and so you know this is what they said. We got to see his pitches then. He just left pitches in the middle of the plate today. It says we talked about it before the game, just trying to get on him early, trying to get on him often, Harper said. Before Bowman's second inning home run, Harper called him over from the on-deck circle to the dugout and offered him a quick word of advice. I think that's just general conversation, trying to get as much info as we can from each other. We just tried to have the best at-bats we could. Bohm smiled when asked what Harper told him. He said it was between us. Bohm remained coy when he was asked afterwards if Harper's words helped him at his bat. He said maybe. He said Schwarber's and Hoskins' home runs were back-to-back, with Schwarber's blast a 443-foot shot to dead center, traveling the farthest. Philadelphia hit home runs off of 4 types of pitches, including 2 sliders, a changeup, a curveball, and a sinker. Before Tuesday, McCullers hadn't given up a single home run on 651 all-speed pitches thrown this season. So I think I want that to sink in. Like, this dude is not a bad pitcher. This dude was one of their best pitchers, and his all-speed pitches is his hallmark. And they just got to him. And I give him credit. He said, "Listen, I am who I am. I'm going to throw a lot of all speed. Everybody knows that." Again, Philly hitters attributed their success to knowing what McCullers' pitches looked like over knowing what was coming. Pitch shape and what a pitch does, what it looks like to the eye for right-handed versus left-handed hitters. We did a great job. Here's what I don't understand. So I played a little bit of baseball when I was younger, and I never understood, especially like that ball is going like 90 miles per hour. You have a split second to understand where that ball is going. A split second to identify whether that ball is a curve, a sinker, a change up. You don't have that long to think about it. So that has always amazed me, the skill. This is why I say, they talk about steroids in the baseball era and how Barry Bonds, should not be in the Hall of Fame because he took steroids. Steroids don't help you see the ball better. Steroids don't help you make contact with the ball. You still have to make contact with the ball. This is what I don't understand. Yes, can steroids help you hit the ball further? Yes. But it doesn't help you see the ball. It doesn't slow everything down. It doesn't make you hit the ball better. You still have to see the pitch. You still gotta exactly, Greg. I'm with you. I can barely, like, when I'm watching at home, I have no clue until it gets to until it's in the pitcher's into the catcher's glove that I can tell you, oh, that was a sinker or that was a curveball. They have to not only know, but then swing accordingly. Swing accordingly. So I believe Barry Bonds and all of them should be accepted in the Hall of Fame. You know why? Here's another reason. Pitchers were taking steroids too. And so they got to throw the ball faster. But nobody got on them. Nobody got on pitchers who were taking steroids. It was always the hitters. I never understood that either. So, you know, it's just something that happened. There was something else. And I give it to McCullers. You know, they tried to say that he might have been tipping his pitches. There was talk that the 9-day layoff, further prolonged by Monday's suspended game, may have been a factor. He just said, "I got whooped." He said, "I got whooped." Plain and simple. End of story. So we'll see. Phillies are up now 2-1 in the World Series after a 7-0 pounding of the Astros. And I know a lot of people are like, "Yo, good for the Astros." I hate them. They're a bunch of cheaters. They still got here without cheating this time. They still got here. It wasn't like they cheated and then they got caught, they stopped, and then they couldn't do anything. Like, they still got back to the World Series without cheating. Now, some people will say, "Oh, nah, they still cheating some way, somehow. They probably still cheating." I don't think so. I don't think that they're still cheating. I think they learned their lesson. I think they're good, you know. But I do think the whole Monday being off might have hurt them. I think it might have hurt them. What's up, Hot Sticks? So, all right. Next topic. Yo, trade deadline. Yo, NFL trade deadline went crazy yesterday. Crazy yesterday. I mean, so many things went on, and we'll talk about that. There was a record 10 trades made yesterday alone. 10 trades made yesterday alone. I definitely want to hear some of these breaking news. I always like to play some of these videos because I haven't heard them. I wasn't, on or whatever. So go ahead and play this real quick.
I think it's fantastic. Look, now they've got a guy who is truly a home run threat from the backfield, both in the run and pass game, because Hines can gut you too in the run game. And Buffalo has shown you, man, they have upgraded their offensive line, and their mentality under Ken Dorsey is not just to throw it all over the place. They will bloody your nose, man, as far as the running game is concerned. And Naeem can do both, although his explosive playmaking ability is fantastic. Let me just add on here quickly. What is happening to the Colts, man, I'm just telling you, I'm depressed over what's happening there. I mean, this is totally wrong about this football team this offseason. It's gutting to watch what's happening to that team right now.
Lewis, you're not alone. Last thoughts here, Mike. What do you got?
Yeah, I love the Naeem Hines move for Buffalo. I can't wait to see what Ken Dorsey does. Lewis touched on it. He's dynamic out of the backfield. They may go a little pony personnel, put him and Singletary together. You could put him in the slot. He is dynamic out of the backfield. He is a great pass catcher. And as you said, Gabe Davis, Dawson Knox, and Stephon Diggs, they are going to be really hard to beat because if you play man-to-man against them, they got 4 or 5 guys that can take it to the house.
I mean, the Bills just like cruise control already this season.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic.
All right, so the Hines trade, I don't know. That, to me, that was kind of puzzling. Is Hines that much better than Singletary? Or is did they get him to replace Singletary? Or did they get him because they wanted a better pass catching running back and they didn't feel Cook could do it? Because I feel like Cook is a good pass catching running back as well. So I was a little confused, and I'm surprised. Like everybody is like saying that this trade was good for the Bills, but I don't. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't get it. I don't know why you would go out and give up assets to get another running back that's just like Cook. I don't know, but we're gonna talk about it. And we're gonna talk about all these trades. So let's go, and we're gonna talk about who won, who got the best deal from all these trades. I think I think that's what I wanna get to. So let's start with the first one. We got safety Dean Marlowe for 2023 seventh rounder. So okay, let me see. So the Falcons gave up Dean Marlowe for 2023 seventh round. Like if you're giving up sixth and seventh rounders, you just giving them something. You just giving them something so that it makes it look better. Like you're not giving them anything of substance. So obviously, you know what? If you give up a seventh rounder, you lost the trade. You lost the trade because whatever you gave up is going to be better than a seventh rounder. So Buffalo won this trade. Rashad Fenton. So the Chiefs gave up Rashad Fenton, cornerback, for a 2023 conditional seventh rounder. Again, I don't seventh rounder. I don't get it. All right, here's a big one. Here's the Naheem Hines. They get Zach Moss and a 2023 conditional sixth rounder. To me, I just don't see how this benefits Buffalo. I get it. Naheem Hines is a dynamic pass catching running back out of the backfield. And he can run as well. But I feel like Cook can too. Like if we go to the depth charts, let's go to the depth charts for the Buffalo Bills. Like James Cook wasn't that guy for you? James Cook couldn't, like, I don't. He averages 5.5 yards attempt. He's had 24 attempts for 132 yards and one touchdown. Unless they're about to make Cook the starter and plan on moving on from Singletary. Yeah, but I don't think that's what they're about to do. But I mean, look at these attempts. This is what I'm talking about. He's not even getting that much run. 5 attempts, 35 yards, 7 yards per carry. 2 attempts, 8 yards, 4 yards per carry. 4 attempts, 31 yards, 7.8 yards per carry. Like, he is being productive. Like, I don't understand why you just don't give him a shot and say, hey, look, you're gonna be our backup. We're gonna trade, we're gonna trade the other guy. We're gonna trade Zach Moss and make you our guy. We're gonna make you our guy. Like, I don't get it. This dude James Cook was a dynamic playmaker for Clemson, right? Where did he go to school at? Georgia. That's right, Georgia. This to me, that's you at this point you're just wasting picks. You're just wasting picks right now. Like, I don't understand why you don't give this dude a shot. Maybe we need to take a look at Naheem Hines. Maybe that's what we do. I wish they had a let's take a look at Naheem Hines. See, like, 2 yards per rush. Like, to me, I don't feel like this guy is any better than Cook. I don't feel like Nyheim Hines is any better than Cook. Look, he is a 2-point yard average player. Look, 5 attempts, 20 yards, 4 rushes. 4 attempts, 2 yards, 0.5. 1 attempt, 3 yards, 3 rush, 3 average. 1, 0 yards, 3, 7, 2. This dude is not he is not a runner. He is not a runner. And maybe we need to take a look at the receiving stats. Maybe it's the receiving stats that they care about. Cook is younger and cheaper and better. Yo, I need to have Buffalo K or Yimmy on the show. Because I don't quite understand it. I don't quite understand it. And I'm probably gonna go to Twitter today and ask them, because this is the trade that just dumbfounds me. Like, you're already the best team in the AFC, in my opinion. And you go out and you give up assets for a guy that you already have on your squad. You already have this guy. This guy is already on your squad. In fact, a better version of this guy is already on your squad. His name is James Cook. His name is James Cook. He's this guy right here. See this guy? This is your guy. This is your guy right here. Yeah. I'm with you. I'm dumbfounded, Hot Sticks. I'm dumbfounded on this. All right. Let's go to the next one. We have defensive end Jacob Martin. The Broncos get a defensive end Jacob Martin 2024 fifth rounder for a 2024 fourth rounder, a 2023 fifth rounder, and a 2024 conditional fourth rounder. Oh, my bad. No, just my bad. Just a fourth rounder. These lines aren't prominent. So yeah, Jacob Martin and a fifth rounder for a fourth round. I mean, I understand that the Broncos needed to get a defensive end because they just gave up Chubb. So I guess this is okay. I'm not mad at this one. Not mad at this. All right, the next one. The Jags get Calvin Ridley for a fifth rounder and a conditional fourth rounder. I don't know how to take this one either, to be honest with you. I didn't think the Jags I don't think the Jags needed a wide receiver. Even though there was a Jags fan in the chat the other day, and he did say that they needed wide receivers. But I'm not sure I would give up 2 picks for a guy that hasn't played in 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm with you. Like, Jags, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Let's take a look at the Jags depth chart. Maybe let's take a look at the Jags depth chart real quick. All right, wide receiver, they got Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, Marvin Jones. They're going to add Ridley. Where does Ridley fit in? I guess, does he become their second wide receiver or their first? Is he better than Christian Kirk? Yeah, because I would think Calvin Ridley is probably better than Christian Kirk, and you just paid Christian Kirk. Yeah, I'm confused. I'm confused. I'm confused at that one too. I'm confused at that one too. Uh Dolphins get running back Jeff Wilson Jr. for a 2023 fifth rounder. I think the whole thing's awkward, Hot Six. The whole thing's awkward. Because first of all, you remember this guy got suspended by betting on that team to lose. And then he goes to that team in a trade. Kind of awkward. Kind of awkward. So I like this move for Miami. You could tell Miami is all in. I like this move. Getting Jeff Wilson Jr. running back. I know that McDaniel likes Mostert, but I think this does Jeff Wilson Jr. become their back now? No, so they got him second right now. But I gotta think that Jeff Wilson's gonna get a lot of carries. Gonna get a lot of carries. Yeah, I like you're not wrong, Hot Six. You're not wrong. This is a scary squad right here. Tua, Mostert, Jeff Wilson, Tyreek, Jalen. They need if they had a third wide receiver, like I guess Mike Gesicki is their third wide receiver. Yeah, like this is a scary squad. This is a scary offense right here. That's a scary offense right there. Then we had Pittsburgh getting William Jackson the third and a seventh rounder for a sixth rounder. That just doesn't seem like a fair trade right there. Edmonds was cheeks. Yeah, this Washington trade does not seem like a fair trade on paper. But for real, I'm not mad at it. William Jackson wanted to be traded. He wasn't playing. You know, he is a man corner and we run a zone concept. And so he wanted to go. And we gave him up. And we were going to release him. So at least we got a sixth rounder from him. And that could be the case for some of these other trades up here, right? Some of these other trades might have happened because they wanted to just get rid of that person. But William Jackson, we paid $40 million for. And we gave him up for a sixth rounder. That tells you how disgruntled or how unorganized this organization is. That's what I'm going to say. This organization is bad. Okay. So then we got Bradley Chubb and a fifth rounder for Chase Edmonds, their 2023 first rounder, and their 2024 fourth rounder. So to me, these two moves signify to me that Miami's all in. They're going with the whole whatchamacallit now. Like the Rams did last year. Yo, let's get these players and let's hope it pans out. Denver has 12 backs. Well, they say if you have 12 backs, you really have none. Hot Sticks. You really have none. So I like this addition of Bradley Chubb. Ain't none of them better than Javonte with one leg. I also feel like a lot of people are saying Bradley Chubb is not that good and that now he's going to get exposed in Miami. I actually think Bradley Chubb is serviceable. I mean, he's no Myles Garrett. You know, he's no Michael Parsons. But I still think that, you know, I think he's nice as well. I think he's nice as well. Would I gave up this much for him? One person said that shot. Nah, I saw on Twitter multiple people said that. Multiple people said they didn't think Chubb was that good. We'll see. We'll see. Like when you talk about the best pass rushers in the NFL, how long does it take for you to get down to Chubb though? That's the question. I feel like I can name a bunch of pass rushing people that are better than Bradley Chubb. I was gonna say Chubb, but Bradley Chubb. So it wasn't just one person, right? It was a couple people. It was a couple people. But I still, with that said, they needed some help on that defensive line. They got it, and Denver got some pieces now. Denver got a fifth rounder up here, and then down here they got a first rounder and a fourth rounder in 2024. So in 2024 they got 2 extra picks, and then they got an extra first rounder plus a running back who they're probably going to release. So I feel like, maybe they're trying to build around Russell Wilson, get him some more pieces on offense. Yeah, I think that's a good trade for both teams. This is the one trade where I will be like, yo, I think both teams got exactly what they wanted. I mean, of course, Denver didn't need Chase Edmonds, but they'll go ahead and take him. Now, this trade right here is a little confusing. Not gonna lie. This one right here is a little confusing. The Chicago Bears get Chase Claypool and give up a second rounder for Chase Claypool. I'm not sure if that is a good trade. Let me know in the chat if you think that's a good trade or not. Let me know if you think that's a good trade. Chase Claypool for a second rounder. A second for Claypool seems a bit high, but I like the addition. No, I like the addition. I'm like, if you said Chase Claypool for a pick, I would say, oh yeah, I like that. I like that. But Chase Claypool for a second rounder, I would maybe go third. Here's the issue though. Chase is a young guy. If we look at his stats and everything, he's 24 years old, big body receiver, 6'4". He's gonna give Justin Fields a big target. Let's see what my man Jeff Saturday has to say about it.
Do you think this move does for him and this offense immediately?
Yeah, I actually like this move a lot, Sage. I mean, you think about offense in the NFL right now, whether you're talking about Josh Allen and Diggs or Justin Jefferson out in Minnesota or even Chase there in Cincinnati, and what the kind of impact they bring to their football teams. I think this is what Chicago is hoping, is that Claypool can kind of be that guy for Justin Fields, have that guy that you're going to go to. He's a big-bodied receiver, 240 pounds or somewhere in that neighborhood. You see him, he's 6'4", so he can take that kind of tough running, the yards after the catch. I think they're trying to find somebody for Fields to complement Mooney and that offense, but give him something to push the ball down the field. That it doesn't always have to be a perfect throw. It could be a throw that's made, and yards after catch are very important.
Yeah, Claypool having a pretty good season so far in Pittsburgh. And how about the Chicago Bears, though, right? Making a lot of moves here leading up to the trade deadline. The first 2 moves on defense and now offensively as they try to keep pace right now with the Vikings, the NFC North. They're only a couple of games back, so we'll see what happens with them. So what?
All right, so yeah, like I said, I'm not mad at the trade per se. I just think the second rounder is a bit iffy. But if you look at it like Chicago's probably looking at it like at least he's a big-bodied wide receiver. Like I said, 6'4", 240. And they hope that he can be a difference maker for Justin Fields. I'm not mad that they're trying to get Justin Fields some help on the offensive line. I just think the second rounder is a bit iffy, but I'm pretty sure if you talk to Pittsburgh fans, they like this move. They like this move. Yeah, and he's only 24. It should be a good pairing with with Mooney and just Fields, giving him another target. Kmet, the tight end, has been so disappointing this year. And it's funny because you saw the trades that they made yesterday, and we'll get to those in a little bit. But you would think, oh, they're starting to rebuild their box, they're keeping it in. But I think they're doing it, but also rebuilding in season as well. So they're rebuilding, but they're rebuilding in season and collecting draft picks for the off season. What's up, Boxy? I'm doing great, man. Hope you are doing well. Hope you are doing great. All right, this next trade, Vikings get TJ Hawkinson, a 4th rounder, and a conditional 4th rounder for a 2023 second rounder and a 2024 third rounder. I was shocked by this. I think everybody was shocked by this. Hawkinson had been effective in that Lions offense. I want to say that he was like one of the second most targeted receiver in Detroit. To give him up for the Vikings to get him, I understand Irv Smith Jr. Is hurt, so you needed another pass catching tight end. You're not shocked? You're not shocked? Show me your TD. I guess I was shocked. I didn't think they would trade Hawkinson. You think it's an impulse buy by the Vikings? You think it was an impulse buy by the Vikings? Like, I'm trying to figure out who won this trade. I mean, obviously, the Vikings are in a win now mode. And so, who won this trade? Contract coming up, plus they don't use tight ends like his type. You mean in Detroit, they don't use tight ends like his type? He is the second leading target guy in Detroit, behind Amon St. Brown. One and done anyways in playoffs, no matter what. Roz, you're a Packers fan. You just hate the Vikings. He doesn't block well for the run or pass protection. He's a receiving tight end. So maybe you're right. Maybe he just didn't fit the scheme in Detroit. We'll see how he's used in Minnesota, who I don't think they threw to their tight end enough either. I mean, there's a lot of Irv Smith Jr. fans who are just like, yo, you never threw to Irv Smith. So why would you go get a pass-catching tight end? All right, next one. Ravens get linebacker Roquan Smith, and they give up linebacker A.J. Klein, a 2023 second rounder, a 2023 fifth rounder, a 2023 third rounder, and they give up a 2023 second rounder and 2023 fifth rounder. Yo, I think big dubs for both. I think both of them won this. I understand Chicago's losing their best linebacker. Roquan Smith is one of the best linebackers in the league. But they get a second and a fifth rounder in return. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that for Chicago. They weren't gonna be able to sign Roquan at the end of the year, I don't think. So might as well give them up for something, and they did. Yo, and then I think the Ravens shore up a middle linebacker spot that they have been sorely missing. We talked about it yesterday. You know, ever since CJ Mosley left, like they've been lacking at that position. Arguably the best inside linebacker in the league. Yeah. And leads the league in tackles. Yeah. I think the stat I rattled off yesterday was that the Ravens give up the most yards after catch for any catches less than 5 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. So it means that they're not tackling. It means that people are throwing it short and they just are not tackling. Closest thing to Ray Lewis, but not Ray Lewis, of course. Yeah, of course. I know what you're getting at, Hot Stick. I know what you're getting at. Definitely not Ray Lewis, but if you had to compare any linebacker to Ray Lewis, it would be Roquan Smith. All right, this one stumped me too. This one stumped me as well. This next one. Kansas City Chiefs received wide receiver Kadarius Toney, and they gave up a 2023 third rounder and a 2023 sixth rounder. What are we doing here? Do the Chiefs really need another wide receiver they're not going to use? Like, did they really need to give up 2 draft picks for another wide receiver they're not going to use? Kadarius Toney is probably going to be a good wide receiver. He's only going to get the ball twice in this in this offense. He's going to only get the ball twice in this offense. Like, again, I don't. My bad. I don't know why you would get this. Yeah, to me, this is a L. I don't understand. They have 3 plays for him right now. That's all he's going to get is 3 plays a game, though. Like, you really giving up 2 draft picks for a guy that you're going to use in 10% of your, like, okay, here's the thing. On Sleeper, they always show the percentage of snaps. I guarantee you, he's not going to be in more than 30% of the snaps. He's not. He's not going to be in. Where is? Okay, let's take a look at the depth charts for the Kansas City. For Kansas City, let's take a look at the depth charts for Kansas City. Let's take a look at the wide receivers. Juju Smith-Schuster, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Mecole Hardman, Travis Kelce. Then you got Kadarius Toney. Like, he is the fifth option. He is the 5th option in that offense, according to the depth chart. According to the depth chart, he is the 5th receiving option in this offense. And you gave up 2 first-round two draft picks for him? I guess 5 wide, maybe. I guess. But that still don't mean he gonna get the ball. Like, I'm only giving up 2 draft picks if that dude is either my 1 or my 2. They gave up 2 draft picks. And they gave up a third rounder, a 3rd draft pick. Give Kelce a breather and spread? Nah. They would still spread it, have 4 wide receivers, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the backfield. Yeah, Marquise is a starter, but that's what I'm saying. Roz, they have so many options that you don't even know that MVS is a starter. You don't even know that he's a starter because they have so many options, and the first four options are all to Kelsey. The first four options are all to Kelsey. Then you'll get some Juju in there, then some MVS, then some Hardman, and now you gotta throw. And now you're gonna throw in Kadarius Tony. Yeah, Giants definitely won that one. He didn't want to play. He didn't want to play in New York anyways. He wanted to get out anyway. So for me, for the Giants to get anything for him, a third and a sixth, they definitely won that trade in my opinion. My opinion. All right. Next trade. Eagles get Robert Quinn. Chicago gets 2023 fourth rounder. To me, this is a win-win for both teams on this one. It's a win-win. Hold on. You hate what, Hot Sticks? You hate the Kadarius Tony trade? Or you hate this Robert Quinn trade? Oh, you hate the Quinn trade. Why? Oh, because it's going to the Eagles? I get it. I get it. You say the Eagles took a L? I don't think so. Why would Eagles get a pass rusher like Robert Quinn? I know. I know. He's a deaf guy. I actually think he starts though. I actually think he's going to be on that defensive line. Yeah. He's going to be the right defensive end. Yo, so look, Josh Sweat was beasting. Josh Sweat was beasting. I was surprised that they made this move because I thought Josh Sweat was beasting. In fact, I want to say PFF had this guy like top 10 in pressures this year. So then you're going to add a Robert Quinn and then you're going to bring Josh Sweat in to relieve him. Man, that's a major win for the Eagles. A major win for the Eagles. To me, that's a major win for the Eagles. Yeah, they're going to rotate that entire line, and now you give now you give all those guys a little bit of breather without sacrificing pressure. Without sacrificing pressure. Those guys are going to be coming in and out fresh all game. All game. I don't think we realize how much energy and stuff you use when you try to go after a quarterback. Like you're wrestling with another big body human being for, you know, 4 seconds, and then you got to run down a play, maybe a running play and stuff like that. You got to be in shape. And if you telling me I'm going to get a couple of plays off and then go in there on third down and be able to, give it my all, shoot. Rushing the passer is difficult. That's why sacks are stats. Hey, facts in the chat. All right, so I think this is a win-win. Again, the Chicago gets a fourth rounder off of this. Like Chicago's just racking up the draft picks. Again, I like the Chase Pool edition. I think a second rounder might be too much, but again, they're getting all these picks. They probably can trade all these picks and get a second rounder back. Who knows? Who knows what they'll do? But I know Bears fans, for the most part, are happy with what the GM is doing right now. All right. This one kind of went under the radar. This Jonathan Hankins and a seventh rounder for a sixth rounder to the Dallas Cowboys. They have been actually getting eaten up in the run lately inside. And so I think this is why they made that move. We'll see. Is he even? I don't even know. Like on the depth chart, where is he on their depth chart? Is he their starting defensive tackle? Yeah. So he's the right defensive tackle right now. Yeah. So I think this is a good move for Dallas. They really didn't have to give up much. Run stopper in depth, and we release Tristan Hill. Good move. So you like that move, Hot Sticks? No one cares about. Everybody cares about the Cowboys. I care because I want them to lose. I want them to lose. All right. Okay. All right. The Jets get running back James Robinson for a 2023 conditional 6th rounder. We know that Brees Hall went down for injury. James Robinson was picked up immediately. Has filled in. I think it's a good pickup. I think it keeps the Jets on track to still be, a good team. Unfortunately, they got to run the ball. I felt like in their last game, who did they play last week? Yeah, I feel like this is a fair deal on both sides. Who did it? Oh, they played the Pats. That's right. They got beat by the Pats. But to be honest with you, I think they didn't stick to their run game. Enough. Yeah, and Zach Wilson sold the bag for them. But I think it was because they didn't run the ball enough. And I want to know if they didn't run the ball because they wasn't confident in James Robinson, or they didn't have Brees Hall, who they were really confident in just giving the ball to. But they didn't run the ball enough in that game, in my opinion. There were like some 3rd and shorts, and they let Zach Wilson do his thing, and Zach Wilson did his thing, which was not complete a pass. So we'll see if they get back to the running game with James Robinson. Yeah, that's what everybody was looking for. Okay, this is your first game without your rookie running back that was balling. How are they going to act? And you're right, they wet the bid. But it happens. It happens. Hopefully they'll go back. They'll evaluate. I like the Jets. I'm rooting for the Jets. All right. To me, this was the biggest trade over everything. Christian McCaffrey for a 2nd, a 3rd, a 4th, a 5th. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Now the Panthers are definitely in a rebuilding. Niners won this trade. I said it yesterday. I think the Niners, this Christian McCaffrey trade is the best trade of them all. Yeah, and I know they gave up a whole bunch of picks, a 2nd, a 3rd, a 4th, and a 5th. They gave up 1, 2, 3, 4 picks for Christian McCaffrey, and I think it'll be worth it. Especially if they win a Super Bowl. Yeah, if they win a Super Bowl, it's gonna be worth it. Christian McCaffrey just gives them so much more options. So many more options for Kyle Shanahan. And it takes a lot of stress off of Debo and a lot of stress off of Garoppolo. So I think this was a fair trade for both, but I think the 49ers really win. And then you had Robbie Anderson going to the Cardinals, and the Panthers getting a 6th and a 7th. I mean, look at what the Panthers got. And they got a 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th round. They got 3 2023 picks and 3 2024 picks. No, it's just these four for Christian McCaffrey. And then these two for Robbie Anderson. So yeah. I mean, it is a haul. Second, third, fourth, and fifth for McCaffrey, but I think he's worth it. Yeah, right. I think he's worth it. I'm surprised that they didn't even have to give up a first round pick. I like San Francisco still didn't have to give up a first round pick. Then they unloaded Robbie Anderson. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, because AJ Green is terrible. But I was gonna say I don't know why the Cardinals traded for him. All they do is throw to Hopkins anyways now that he's back. I think Hopkins has more receptions than AJ Green in 2 games than AJ Green had all season. Or any receiver had all season. The Browns get linebacker Deion Jones, who made some big plays. Made some big plays in that Cincinnati game. They got Deion Jones and a 7th rounder for a 6th rounder. Again, I like this one too. I'm a little surprised no one coughed up a 4th rounder for Hunt. I'm surprised too. I think, yeah, that's a W for the Browns. I just think the Browns didn't want to let him go. Like, there was trade talk at the beginning of the season, and they talked to Stefanski, and Stefanski said, "Yo, Kareem Hunt's one of my favorite players. Like, I don't want him to go nowhere." So I think they're going to continue to do the running back by committee, but they got to run the ball more, which it looked like they're doing. See, that's the thing. I don't think they're going to be able to re-sign him. Not unless he takes a cut. Not unless he takes a cut. Odell is still out there. Hold on. We'll talk about Odell in a minute. So the last trade, Raiders get offensive tackle Justin Herron and a 2024 7th rounder for a 6th rounder. Again, this is just basically a dump. We just want to dump a player. We'll give you a player. You give us a 7th round. You give us a 6th rounder. Yeah. So what's a good place for Odell right now? What's a good place for Odell? I'm not sure. KC? No, come on. KC just picked up Kadarius Toney. We just talked about them not even going to be able to use him. I think he should go back to the Giants, even though I don't want to see it. I do think he should go back to the Giants. Trying to think. Oh, the Bucks? No, he should. See, I would say he should go to Green Bay, but I think Green Bay is out of it. So if I was him, I wouldn't go to Green Bay. I wouldn't go to Green Bay because I think Green Bay is he's got to go to a team that's going to make the playoffs, that he knows is going to make the playoffs. Dallas? Oh, I couldn't imagine OBJ in a Dallas jersey. He wants too much. He deserves it if he's back to where he was before he got injured this last time. Rumors were Chiefs cleared cap space for him. Yeah, but then they just signed. Then they just traded for Kadarius Toney. So I don't know. San Francisco, I could see San Francisco. Debo's a little banged up. Man, could you imagine that team? Could you imagine that team? San Francisco with Odell? I can't see him in Miami. I can't see him in Miami. I'm trying to think what other contending team. Rams missed out on Cooks, so there's always that. So maybe Odell back to the Rams. Nah, I think he's salty that the Rams didn't want to pay him. Or nah, he's not going to the Lions. He's going to a contender. He's going to a contender. He's going to a contender. So KC, nah, I don't think KC. Chargers? Okay, I like the Chargers. I would like to see Odell in a Chargers uniform. What about the Bills? Nah, Bills. I don't think we should do. All right, so those are it's too cold. Those are the trades that happened. Uh, Again, a record 10 just yesterday. But I think out of all of these, I think the Christian McCaffrey trade was probably the biggest and will probably propel San Francisco to at least a divisional conference championship game. So, all right, let's go ahead and move on. Actually, before we move on, let's go ahead and take a quick break. Take a quick break. Actually, no. Let's go ahead and talk the next one. Go ahead and talk about the Nets. All right, so we know that Steve Nash was fired by the Nets organization yesterday. Here's what KD had to say about the whole thing.
Always shocked when a move like this happens, but it's normal in the NBA. It was a rocky year last year, rocky summer. We knew that everybody was being evaluated. That's just how it is. I like working with Steve. I like working with the coaching staff. It was a roller coaster the last few years, but, you know, the core of it, basketball, is something that we all love to do, you know. So regardless of who the coach, regardless of, you know, the circumstances, still got to come to work. So I enjoy coming to work with Steve. You're always shocked when.
So Kevin Durant's lying. Yes, big stupid. I was just Kevin Durant is lying to the people. He is straight up lying to the people. Like, this is the same dude who said it's either him or Steve Nash. Yes, exactly. Post moves. He's the one that said, yo, trade me or fire Steve. That's what I want. And now he's like, oh, I had a great relationship with Steve. He was a great coach. You know, we had fun. You know, it was a roller coaster season, but, you know, at the core of it is basketball is something we all love to do. You know, I didn't have a problem with, like, come on, dude. Come on, dude. Let me read this for you. Net star forward Kevin Durant said he was shocked when he learned of Steve Nash's firing as Brooklyn's head coach Tuesday. You're always shocked when a move like this happens, Durant said after a loss to the Chicago Bulls last night. But it's normal in the NBA. It's about getting ready for the game tonight. It's a quick turnaround always in the league, especially during the season. You've got practice, games coming up, so you can't think too much about it. It was on my mind for a little bit today. Durant said he found out about the news regarding Nash about 1:15 p.m. after he woke up from a pregame nap and watched ESPN. Nets general manager Sean Marks said before the game that no players were consulted before the decision, which is notable given Durant reportedly asked for Nash and Marks to be fired over the summer before rescinding his trade request before the season. Exactly. Like, you asked for him to be fired, but he also asked for the general manager to be fired too. So let's not skip over that. Let's not skip over that. Durant needs to realize he needs to stop thinking he's a baby face. He's a heel now. Just embrace it and act accordingly. Somebody wrote that speech for KD. I don't really follow the NBA. Why did he want them fired? He never gave a reason. It was just an ultimatum. He told them either fire them or trade me, and they did neither. I don't know. First of all, I don't think Kevin Durant was horrible last night. Kyrie was horrible last night. I watched the game, Jet Setter. Kyrie. Oh, you're saying Kyrie was horrible. Okay, my bad. Yeah, Kyrie sold the bag yesterday. Kyrie looked like he didn't want to be in it yesterday, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Durant developed a solid relationship with Nash during their time with Golden State. When Nash served as a player development consultant, he was asked why he thought it didn't work out for Nash. He said a lot of stuff. We didn't really have a healthy team. We just didn't play well. And that's what happens in this league. Shit happens. That doesn't take away from Steve's basketball IQ, how he teaches the game. I don't think it takes away from anything. It just didn't work. We discussed this on And One last night with C Money, Too Tall, and DM James. And I think we came to a consensus that Nash was just not a good coach. I don't think Nash was a good coach. I mean, I watch enough basketball that I know good coaches when I see them. Like in one of the instances that I pointed out was that when Too Tall mentioned this, like when your best player is getting double teamed, you got to do something different. You can't keep throwing it into him and he getting double teamed and you're not doing anything else. Like you got to start running him off picks and stuff. Also, after timeouts, there was no plays developed after timeouts. It was just, okay, I'll call the timeout because we're obviously not playing well. I'm going to give y'all a nice little pep talk, and then we're going to go out and do the same thing. Whereas good coaches will come up with a play after the timeout where you get a wide open shot or a good shot at the rim. I didn't see that with Steve Nash. He didn't have any coaching experience before this, so not shot. I agree. This is one of the reasons why I kind of questioned why was he even hired in the first place? He wasn't an assistant coach anywhere. He didn't coach anywhere. He wasn't on a team's bench for a year, soaking in whatever coaching experience he could soak up. Like, they say he was a player development consultant. What the hell is that? That's basically somebody that comes in who is a former player who comes in and tries to tell, the players how to develop or how to get better player wise. But that's not coaching. That's not coaching. Yeah, I haven't liked Durant since OKC, always whining about something. Yeah, I'm with you. I loved OKC Durant. OKC Durant was fun to watch. Didn't Jason Kidd go straight to head coach? I'm not sure about Jason Kidd. I wouldn't be surprised if he did, which I mean, he didn't last long either, did he? Actually, he was head coach of the Nets, and then he went to Dallas, right? Yeah, I'm not sure if if Jason Kidd had head coaching experience or not. But yeah. So it says Durant said he has not spoken to Nash since the move became official. Jacques Vaughn is serving as interim head coach. The Nets fell to 2-6 after Tuesday's loss to Chicago. Durant had several times over the past year and reiterated again Tuesday night that he believed Nash wasn't dealt a fair hand given all the circumstances surrounding his 2.5-year tenure. Oh, come on, dog. Come on, dog. Like, you had a part in him not getting a fair deal. I just remember him getting fined for spilling that drink to get a timeout. Oh, I don't even remember that. But yeah, he said, let's be real. We're pros. We're veterans. We had a tough start. Durant said when he was asked if he was consulted about the decision beforehand. It was a rocky year last year, rocky summer. We knew that everybody was being evaluated. That just is how it is in the league. So I like working with Steve. I like working with the coaching staff. It was a roller coaster. That's such bullshit. Like, he did not like working with Steve, because if he did, he wouldn't have asked for him to be fired at the end of the season. Like I just wish these guys would just tell the truth, or just don't say nothing at all. But don't lie to the people. Don't lie and say you enjoyed working with him, and you enjoyed working with the staff when you wanted him and his staff gone. Like, and you're one, like, I don't know. Like, and Kyrie, look, Kyrie last night played terrible. Terrible. Kyrie looked like he didn't even want to be out there. And again, I should have known. You know, there was so much drama around him and his anti-Semitic statements and that whole thing that I'm not going to get into on this show. But he did not want to play yesterday. He was telling them to pass the ball. He was telling them to, like, hey, yo, give it to Patty Mills. Don't swing it this way. He would get the ball and immediately give it to somebody else. Like, he was 0 for 3 in the first half. He only took 3 shots in the first half. I knew when he went out with 7 minutes left in the first quarter and hadn't taken 1 shot, what the game was going to be. I already knew, okay, you know what? He's not in it. Just because there was some, like, he was letting the backup just dog walk him. Yeah, I don't, like, it would be so nice if he just say, I didn't like the guy, he's terrible at his job, doesn't know shit, and I'm glad he's gone. No, I don't think he needs to say that. But he could say, hey, look, it is what it is, you know. You know, Nash and I had our disagreements. We had our differences. You know, maybe this will give us both a fresh start. That's all he had to say. He doesn't have to say that he, first of all, he didn't have to lie. But he also didn't have to go into details either. He could have just said, hey, you know, we didn't get along. It is what it is. You don't get along with everybody that you work with, you know, sometimes. And maybe this is best for both of us. Maybe this is best for the team. And maybe this is best for Steve Nash. Maybe he can go somewhere else and coach. Speaking of that, though, the Nets seem like they are almost going to hire and finalize a deal to hire Ime Udoka as the head coach for the Nets. I like this move for the Nets. Let's see what they got to say.
What level of vetting is taking place in Brooklyn in their possible hire of Ime Udoka?
Yeah, and I think that's what they've been spending time on that. And there have been other teams around the league who've been spending time trying to get ahead of the possibility of bringing Ime Udoka in at some point and trying to understand the story and why he was suspended and ultimately was not going to return as the Celtics coach. There is history, certainly, with him in Brooklyn. He was obviously on Steve Nash's staff before he went to Boston. And he was in San Antonio for a number of years with Sean Marks, the Nets GM. So they know him well. And Even Ben Simmons, remember, he was in Philadelphia for a year with Doc Rivers, or in Philadelphia with Ben Simmons, certainly, and has a relationship with him. And that's really going to be a big part of this job, is getting Ben Simmons going again. But certainly, listen, the Nets are going to have to answer questions about Udoka's hiring and the vetting they did do. We've reported on the reasons Boston, among them the independent law firm's probe that led to his suspension, which is ultimately really a dismissal. And Boston is going to, all along they were going to allow Ime Udoka to take another job, whether it was an assistant or a head coach. But certainly there's a lot of risk here. There's a lot of desperation in Brooklyn right now to try to piece this franchise back together, to hold on to this season and keep a group in place that certainly feels right now like at a number of other points in the last couple of years.
So, I'm not going to lie, Hot Sticks. I feel the same way. Malika is a fine young woman. Fine. If you're the Celtics, can you ask for compensation for him since he's under contract? No. Because I think I guess you could, but I don't think the Celtics will do that. I think the Celtics all along have said, if he pursues, assistant coach somewhere and, or wants to be a head coach somewhere, that's fine. That's fine. But maybe the Celtics are like, ooh, I don't want Brooklyn to get him though. Like maybe if it's Brooklyn, yeah, maybe we need some compensation. Maybe we need some compensation if it's Brooklyn. But I don't understand. If I'm the Brooklyn Nets, I guess you got to do your due diligence. You don't want to just hire Udoka just because he's a good coach. But you already see the ties there, right? He was on he was on Nash's staff before he got the head coaching job in Boston. He knows Ben Simmons from when he was in Philadelphia. So he already has a rapport with those players. He already has a rapport with those players. So it will be interesting. If I'm the Nets, I wouldn't even worry about the distraction. There's going to be a distraction no matter who you get. Now, granted, you get Ime, it's going to be more distractions. But at the same time, I think he's probably the best candidate you can get to try to salvage the season. Because I think that's ultimately what you're trying to do right now. You're trying to salvage the season. Trying to salvage the season. We'll see. All right. I think that's all I wanted to talk about for the Nets. Do you think, all right, here's a question for you guys. Do you think Steve Nash gets another coaching job? Another head coaching job? I don't think he gets another head coaching job. I don't think he gets another head coaching job. No. And I don't think he accepts an assistant coaching job either. He should try front office. He definitely doesn't even have. Does he even have the? What front office thing would he serve? Like he's not. I don't think he'll be an assistant. I don't think he'll take an assistant job. I think because he came in right as a coach, I don't think he'll step down and be an assistant anywhere. I don't even think he'll. I think he might be done. He might be done. Because I couldn't imagine him with a young team. Because I don't think he's that good of a coach. Yeah, but see, that's what I'm saying. You think it'll be with a young team that's rebuilding? I don't think so. But we'll see. We'll see what the future of Steve Nash is. See what the future of Steve Nash is. All right, guys. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll talk about college football rankings. We'll be back. All right, we are back. We are back, y'all. Appreciate y'all sticking with me. We're going to talk about college football playoff selection committee. Did their top four, and we're going to talk about what is needed from each of these teams. And do you think the committee got it right? So they got. Hold on. Let me switch to this one. So they got Tennessee number 1, Ohio State number 2, Georgia number 3, Clemson number 4, Michigan number 5, and Alabama number 6. Do y'all agree with these rankings? Do y'all agree with these rankings? And let's hear what they have to say here.
Heather, you get a little time to digest the first rankings now. See, 5 of the top 11 are from the SEC. What is it that jumped out to you about these initial rankings?
Well, the first thing, Reese, is that Georgia needs to win on Saturday more than Tennessee. And I say that because it's clear they are clinging to that win against Oregon. And if they don't beat Tennessee, they're going to obviously need to win out, and they're going to have to pray because nobody left on their schedule is ranked in the CFP's top 25 tonight. And that win against Oregon was great, but they've got to do more. They've got to beat Tennessee in order to have a chance, in my opinion. And the other thing that really stood out to me, Reese, was an indictment on Michigan's non-conference schedule. When you look at Colorado State, Hawaii, and UConn, those teams are a combined 8-18. So they've got one win, a ranked win against Penn State, which is 6-2. Yeah, Ohio State has the same thing, but clearly they like what they see more from the Buckeyes on film than they do Michigan. To me, this says you've got to beat the Buckeyes or you're not getting into the college football playoff.
The top 6 now. And there's probably a little intrigue with Clemson and Alabama, too, because Clemson's resume in terms of who they've beaten, not that great. But at number 6, it is Alabama, which means that Clemson will be in that 5 spot. Now, people get upset about Alabama, but just remember this. If Alabama wins the rest of its games, they're going to be in the playoff. If they lose one, they're not. You know, and if they lose one, Saturday, they might not even make the SEC.
But is there reason ahead? But is there reason to be upset when you've seen Alabama very easily could have lost to Texas, could have lost to A&M, got beat by Tennessee?
Yes.
That's what you're putting at number 6 right now. If we're putting all the body of work together, is that a team worthy of 6?
You cannot look ahead. We got to go
with what we've seen
today. What we've seen. If I'm TCU, not me.
Yeah, some of these teams got to play each other.
I'm already thinking, what's going on here?
Well, I think the one thing, I'm not saying that. I'm saying for the people who get upset about where they are.
Me.
This will take care of itself. It's a different argument if you think that TCU, and it's a reasonable take, should be ranked ahead of Alabama. At number 5, Michigan.
Whoa.
Now, I think all of us expected to see Clemson here.
Okay.
Instead, it's Michigan. Kirk, what's your reaction to that?
Surprised, but you wonder if the non-conference hurt them when it came to separating Clemson and Michigan. Michigan, I think all of us who watch football and like to think we know about the game, we've been very impressed with Michigan compared to losing Ajabo and Hutchinson, losing their coordinators, replacing the quarterback who was returning, and Cade McNamara with J.J. McCarthy and Reese. If anything, they've raised the bar from where they were a year ago. All this is for naught. If they went out, they're fine. But it's just interesting to see what the committee thinks.
It's a great point, Kirk. Their strength of schedule was barely in the top 80. I think they had a game canceled with UCLA and filled it in. So their non-conference schedule was basically an exhibition schedule for them prior to the
I think that's definitely what hurt Michigan.
4. And there is Clemson. Clemson goes to Notre Dame this weekend. Tigers have had
That's all right. We got Ohio State coming up. We're going to whip them boys.
Yeah, I don't know that they have a situation. The Clemson, probably for the past 2 years, even though they won 10 games last season, they haven't jumped off the screen at you when you watch them. And you're expecting to see an explosive offense that we've seen over the past few years, and we're not seeing that yet. So I can see Clemson being a team that is like, hey, if they win out, they'll be fine, but they're not jumping off the screen at me and make me think, wow, they're a great team.
And that's why I wonder why they're at 4 ahead of Michigan when Michigan's offense jumps off at the screen to me. And the defense has been pretty dang dominant this year, too. So, interesting.
Yeah, Clemson should be 5.
3 teams at the top.
Michigan should be 4.
Certainly. The order is fascinating. What can we learn from the committee, at least in the initial rankings, by how they have them stacked up? At number 3. Georgia denied a 1 versus 2 matchup in terms of now Georgia. Georgia kind of messed around with Kent State.
Missouri.
They got pushed to the end by Missouri, surprisingly, and maybe that's the reason they're paying for it. They do have the big win over Oregon on the resume.
Yeah, the win over Oregon, the win over Florida. 2 times this season, we've seen Georgia have to get up for a game. It's time to go prove something, and they've done that very well.
They did have to get up for that Missouri
18,
game.
19,
they almost lost that game.
National champs from last season. I can see them sleepwalking through those games. Those don't bother me as much.
Happiest guy in the world right now is Kirby Smart. They don't respect us, and here come the Big Orange. Is Tennessee 2 or 1? Who's 2? Ohio State is number 2, and that leaves the Big Orange of Tennessee for the first time in now this 9th year of the college football playoff.
They're usually quick to try to give us one or two, one versus two.
Yeah, been ranked in the top 15, hadn't been ranked at all in the previous 5 iterations of the college football playoff ranking. So it's Tennessee, Ohio State, Georgia, Clemson.
All right. So those are the top teams.
What's up, everybody? David Paul.
Does anybody have a problem with that order? I really don't have a problem, even though I'm a big Michigan fan. I understand what the committee is saying. They're saying that we haven't played anybody, but I don't feel like Clemson has played anybody either. I do think Tennessee deserves the number 1 spot because they beat Alabama and beat them good. Alabama being 6, oh, that's tough because I would think TCU might have a little issue with that. TCU also 8-0, but Alabama's Alabama. Look, and like somebody said before, this is just the first iteration, right? Like the first one doesn't matter. The last one matters. Right, and then they beat LSU by a lot, Kentucky and Florida. I have no problems with Tennessee being number 1. Yeah, this will move around. But right, Clemson hasn't looked great all year. Like Herb Street said, they haven't. Nothing pops out to you when you watch Clemson. But at least when you watch Michigan, you can say, "Oh, their offense is much better than it was last year," And I reiterate, and I told somebody this the other day, Michigan has lost so much. For them to still be undefeated and in the thick of things is amazing. The fact that they lost both of their defensive ends, they lost numerous players on that defense, they lost coordinators and assistants, and they're still holding it together. Like, those things could ruin others. And they got a quarterback change. So it's not like this is the same team last year that's playing for Michigan. But we'll see. In all honesty, I want them to beat Ohio State. But Ohio State has looked good as well. And that's going to be a tough game. And I'm not sure Michigan's defense is up to it. We'll see. But look, Georgia needs to win more than the Vols do on Sunday, right? So if Tennessee wins on Saturday, it could still lose to Alabama in the SEC championship game and still finish top 4. That's how good of a spot Tennessee is in right now. If they go ahead and win this weekend, if they beat Georgia this weekend, they could lose to Alabama and still be good. I don't think Georgia can lose at all. Georgia can't afford to lose at all. Because if Georgia loses and then let's say Alabama beats Tennessee in the rematch, Georgia's out. And everybody else runs the table, Georgia's out. Oh, and here it says, Michigan's non-conference schedule is holding them back. Michigan needs to beat Ohio State. They need to beat Ohio State. The winner of that game is in the Final Four. That's basically what it is. I think if either team loses, they're out. If Ohio State loses, they're out. If Michigan loses, they're out. I think that's just how it's going to play out. Without a win against the Buckeyes, it's going to be hard for the committee to justify moving Michigan up. The Wolverines' non-conference schedule, Colorado State, Hawaii, UConn, was abysmal. And right now, their only win against a CFP top 25 team is number 15 Penn State. though they get a shot at number 16 Illinois this month. The same can be said for Ohio State as far as the Buckeyes' best win, but clearly the committee likes what it sees on film from Ohio State more than that of Michigan. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how the committee handles one-loss teams in Big Ten and SEC. Doomsday scenario for us is lose to Georgia and then win out 11-1. Bama 12-1 beats Georgia in the SEC and championship 12-1. Nah, but see, if Tennessee wins out, then they'll beat Bama again, right? Because Bama and Georgia got to face off in the SEC championship. At least I think that's how it goes. Maybe I'm wrong. Ohio versus the world. I think Clemson gets washed by all those teams. I agree. I agree. There's nothing I've seen from Clemson that tells me that they would beat any of those top 6 teams. I don't think they beat Tennessee. I don't think they beat Georgia. I don't think they beat Ohio State. I don't even think they beat Michigan or Alabama. Like, to see Clemson at number 4, they just, yeah. I don't know what the committee was thinking right there, but anyways, it is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah, so if I'm TCU, I'm upset. It's outrage season in college football, and with Tuesday release of the first 2022 college football power rankings, there's plenty of anger to go around. TCU should be the angriest. Yes, we know the argument. TCU hasn't been dominant. It's a case that might hold water if dominance was a criteria for teams just ahead of the Horned Frogs. TCU has 8 second-half drives this season when trailing. That's actually 1 fewer than number 4 Clemson. I agree. TCU might be Clemson. TCU has 3 wins by 7 points or less, but the team 1 spot ahead, Alabama, has 2 and 1 loss. TCU has improved enough to overcome some of the obvious drawbacks, but hey, Michigan's 7-point win over Maryland, the Wolverines' second best opponent this year, must have really impressed the committee. Yo, not gonna lie, Maryland's a good team. I haven't seen them lately. I don't know why I haven't been able to catch them on TV lately. But Maryland, when they played Michigan, I thought Maryland had a chance to beat Michigan, and they did have a chance to beat Michigan. Tua's younger brother plays for Maryland, is Maryland's quarterback, and he has been playing really good. Again, I haven't been keeping up with what they've been doing lately, but I like what I saw from and for real, Maryland got hosed their first couple of games by refs. Like, just bad spots, bad calls that they couldn't challenge. Like, they got hosed. Wisconsin spanks who? Saturday, Maryland? You want to put something on the game, Ross? You want to put something on the game? You want to put something on the game? All right. The folks in the committee room, well, TCU has improved. Oh, the folks in the committee room claim to care only about resume. Who have you beaten? And don't look ahead or consider past. So how then to make heads or tails TCU's number 7 placement? Somehow Wisconsin is a 5-point favorite. Yeah, give me 3 points, Roz. They're a 5-point favorite. Give me 3 points. I don't even want the whole 5. Give me 3 points in Maryland. I do think TCU does have a case. It's just hard for these non-conference guys out here, right? It's just hard for these non-conference guys. It says the Wolverines' weak non-conference schedule is their undoing. It's interesting this comes after canceling a non-conference series with UCLA. So Jim Harbaugh can now pass NC State's Dave Dorian on the "we're really angry about canceled games" against the Bruins power rankings. Yeah. All right. Hey, RDU, appreciate that Prime Gaming sub, my guy. Get some sub hypes in the chat. All right, so I was looking, how would a 12-team playoff work? So they would give Tennessee, Ohio State, Clemson, TCU a bye. And then these would be the rest of the 12. Hold on, why would TCU get a bye? Oh, maybe because they're in a non-conference. Like Tennessee represents this conference, Ohio State represents. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it has to be conference winner to get a bye. I got you. And so these would be the remaining seeds. First round games, Tulane at Georgia. Oh my God. Like, would these even be games? This would be a good game. LSU at Alabama. Do you think this might be too many games though for college playoffs? Because aren't they going to go to a 12-game playoff system soon? I know it's not this year, but aren't they going to a 12-game playoff system soon? Expanding is dumb. All previous championships mean nothing now. Really? Yeah, the first round is going to have some tail whoopings for sure. Like, I can't imagine this Georgia Tulane game being even remotely close. 2024 is the proposal? Okay. So we're talking about in a couple years. We're talking about in a couple years. Okay. I'm good with that. All right, let's move on to our last subject before we get out of here. And we're going to talk week 9 power rankings in the NFL. We're going to talk about week 9 power rankings in the NFL. 1 for 32 and a reason for hope for all of those teams. This is going to be real fast and simple. Look, Buffalo, I think, is ahead. They're 6-1. I know we got the Eagles, but I just feel like Buffalo is playing at a great level right here. It's no disrespect to the Eagles at all. No disrespectful to the Eagles. But if I asked you who would you favor in winning the Super Bowl, the Buffalo Bills or the Eagles, I'm probably going to take the Buffalo Bills. Okay, they got Philadelphia at number 2. I'm not mad at that. Stellar start. They got an easy finish. I don't think, look, for real, I don't think they lose maybe 1 or 2 games the rest of the season. I think they'll finish 15-2. At number 3, they got the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not mad at this. Reason for optimism, they got Patrick Mahomes. Hey, that's reason enough. Number 4, Dallas Cowboys. I don't know what to say. Dallas Cowboys are 6-2. their defense has been the story all these games. Tony Pollard looked great last game. Not gonna lie. I think if they get a healthy Zeke, like this team could go far. Because I'm always a believer that defense wins championships. I just hope it doesn't work out this season for this team. Just me. 5, Minnesota, 6-1. Who would have thought Minnesota would be 6-1 at this point in the year? But here they are. Reason for optimism, success in close games. Okay. Baltimore Ravens, 5-3. Like I am not trusting the Baltimore Ravens. I don't know why. I just have no faith that they'll get over the hump. They have a favorable remaining schedule. That's their reason for optimism. I like the 5-3 Miami Dolphins over the 5-3 Baltimore Ravens, personally. Reason for optimism, Tua. At number 8, the surprising Seattle Seahawks. I am rooting for Geno Smith. I love Kenneth Walker III. Dolphins going out in the first round. That may be so, just because of lack of playoff experience. That may be so, but I still like the Dolphins. I like Seattle too. Not sure how their season, the rest of their schedule plays out, but I definitely like them. San Francisco, they're going to be tough. They're going to be tough now with Christian McCaffrey. I think Christian McCaffrey catapults them to an NFC Championship game against the Eagles. That's how I think this might turn out for San Francisco. Tennessee. Wow. Tennessee, the 10th best team in the NFL, doesn't seem plausible. But they're 5-2. And I want to say the 2 losses were kind of close. All right. The Giants fall. They're 6-2. Saquon Barkley is the Giants' offense. When he is not playing well, or teams are able to shut him down, they don't tend to do well. Cincinnati Bengals, I thought they figured it out, but man, the Browns just put a whooping on them the other day. And they still haven't figured it out. Jets. I have high hopes for the Jets. I like the Jets offense. I like their defense even better. Sauce Gardner is the truth. He reminds me of how I felt about Patrick Surtain in his rookie year. And we were finding out that Patrick Surtain is one of the best corners in the league. Bengals won't make the playoffs? Yeah, probably not. Number 14, we had the Rams. I'm not sure what's going on with the Rams. I feel like they got the same team they did last year, except for no Von Miller, and maybe that has hurt them. But we'll see. Reason for optimism, Cooper Kupp. At number 15, Atlanta Falcons. I guess because they are first place in the NFC South, you have to move them up. But man, I don't like that. 15 just seems too high for Atlanta. What's going on, Mason? All right, 16, Chargers. Chargers were like that team at the beginning of the season where we were just like, oh man, the Chargers. People were saying the Chargers were going to win the AFC West. They were going to go to a Super Bowl and everything. And now they're sitting at 4-3, riddled with injuries. Which seems, if you ask any Charger fans, this is nothing new. They always get injured. New England Patriots 4-4. Ramondre Stevenson has been a bright spot, but New England has been kind of exposed. And I don't want to say Mac Jones has regressed from his rookie season, but maybe they're just opening it up more and he doesn't look as sharp. Even though they did manhandle the Jets last game. Tampa Bay 3-5, just total. Just the only bright spot for Tampa Bay is that they're in a bad division and they've already beaten the NFC South Falcons already once. So all they have to do is beat them again and they can still win. I still got the Bucs winning that division. I just have faith that Brady's going to turn it around. Number 19, the Washington Commanders. We're at 19. There's 32 teams, right? There's not 20, right? There's more than 20 teams, right? There's no way Washington is number 19 at 4-4. The reason the defensive line, Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne have been a key part in Washington's improved defensive play overall. In the past 6 weeks, Washington ranks 5th in yards per carry, 8th in sack percentage for dropbacks, 5th in yards, and 9th in points. And it starts up front where the Commanders have talent and depth. Allen has 3.5 sacks and 9 tackles for a loss, 2 shy of his career best. Payne has 4.5 sacks, a half sack shy of his career best. And Montez Sweat has played fine, but he should be helped by the return of Chase Young. Young is expected to practice Wednesday, but might not play till week 10 at Philadelphia. You forgot the Browns and the Steelers have the worst records. I think the Raiders are back there too, and the Panthers and the Texans. I get it. I get it. But these are power rankings. These are not like it's definitely not going by records. It's going by the team and how the team looks. Green Bay Packers. I guess this makes sense. Washington beat Green Bay. They're 3-5. They've lost 4 straight. Exactly. Washington is ahead by default. Thanks, Mason. Thanks. New Orleans Saints, 3-5. This team has been disappointing as well. I think we had at least I had high hopes that they would contend with Tampa at the top of that division, but nope. Indianapolis Colts, 3-4-1. Sheesh. Like, I don't know what they're doing. They sat down Matt Ryan. They traded away Naheem Hines. Like, are they in a rebuilding? I have to ask Shrades. Are the Colts in a rebuilding mode right now? Because that's what it seems like. Cleveland, 3-5. I mean, at least they get Deshaun Watson back, right? At some point, right? Arizona, another disappointing team at 3-5. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins has come back and has gotten like at least 10 catches every game that he's been back and has 100 yards receiving each game. So, reason for optimism there. Denver Broncos, terrible. Their head coach is terrible. Chicago Bears, 3-5. I like Justin Fields' development. They're getting better. He's getting better. I won't say they're getting better. He's getting better. I want to see him with Chase Claypool now. That should be very interesting. 27, the Raiders. I mean, they just got beat. They just got blown out and shut out their last game. This is probably the most disappointing team, the Raiders. There were people who were saying the Raiders were going to win the AFC West. And now they're at 2-5. And they haven't even played like everybody in the AFC West yet. Carolina Panthers, 2-6. They're a mess. NFC South is a mess. Jacksonville is at 29. Pittsburgh Steelers at 26. TJ Watt's about to return. Detroit Lions, 1-6. And then the Houston Texans are the worst. 1-5-1. Sheesh. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me today, y'all. I appreciate everybody coming through. for Wake Up Sports episode 2. Make sure you go follow me on Twitter at Shopmaster. If you're not following me already, follow me on this channel as well. Stick that follow button. Stick that notification bell so you know when I go live as well. We do this every Monday through Friday, 6:30 a.m. to around 8:15, 8:30ish, or whenever we get done with all the topics that we want to talk about. Hope you're all caught up with today's sports. There was one other thing that I wanted to talk about. Andy Reid's son, who was in a vehicular, I think he pleaded guilty to vehicular homicide. Actually, he was in an accident and he killed somebody. He's only getting 3 years. 3 years. It says former Kansas City Chief assistant coach Britt Reid, who was sentenced on Tuesday to 3 years in prison for driving drunk, speeding, and hitting 2 parked cars, leaving a 5-year-old girl with a serious brain injury. Reid pleaded guilty in September for driving while intoxicated, causing seriously bodily injury. The charge carries a maximum penalty of 7 years in prison, but prosecutors had agreed to ask for a maximum sentence of 4 years. Reid sought probation. The judge sentenced Reid on Tuesday, and he was set to take into custody. Prosecutors said Reid, who is the son of Chiefs coach Andy Reid, was intoxicated and driving about 84 miles per hour in a 65 when his Dodge truck hit the cars on an entrance ramp to Interstate 435 near Arrowhead Stadium. A girl inside one of the cars suffered a traumatic brain injury. A total of 6 people, including Reid, were injured. One of the vehicles hit had stalled because of a dead battery, and the second was owned by Ariel's mother, who had arrived to help. Reid had a blood alcohol level of 100.113%. The legal limit is 0.08. He was at 0.113. Wow. So no, he didn't kill anybody. He didn't kill anybody. Yeah. So I thought one died as well. But I mean, the little girl has brain damage. Maybe if she died, he would have got the maximum. But to me, if you cause brain damage, like to me, like that to me, that's just as bad. So the family opposed the plea deal. The victims of the crime are outraged the defendant was not sentenced to a maximum sentence allowed by law. Who represent a family said no amount of prison time will ever be enough to punish the defendant for the pain and suffering it's caused this family and the ongoing difficulties that Ariel will continue to endure for the rest of her life. She will endure. She will strive and she will thrive. She is Ariel strong. Miller said her daughter, who was in court Tuesday, had improved, but still drags one of her feet when she walks, has terrible balance, and must wear thick eyeglasses. Ariel's life forever changed because of Britt Reid. She will deal with this for the rest of her life. Reid apologized before sentencing, turning to look at Ariel and her family as he spoke. He said he has a daughter the same age as Ariel, and his family prays for her every night. He says, I understand where Miss Miller is coming from. I think I would feel the same way, he said. No. Being dead is one thing. No, she might as well be dead. No. I mean, look, I get it. Yeah, brain damage is brain damage, but being dead and losing a daughter like that, like I'd rather my daughter have brain damage and have these difficulties than for her to be gone, unless she isn't just in dire pain all the time. Right. She's still right. From what I understand, I initially thought that he had killed one person, but it looks like he had just injured a lot of people and had seriously injured this girl. And right, she has issues, but she still will have a good quality of life. Maybe not the life that she could have had. I still think 3 years is not enough because here's what's going to happen. He's going to get sentenced to 3 years, but he's going to get out in 1.5. He's going to get out in 1.5. I promise you. I promise you, he will be out in 1.5. And that is a shame. That is a shame. That's why a lot of people want the max. A lot of people want max because they know that if at least if he gets max, he's going to serve at least 3 years in prison. By him only getting 3 years, he's really only going to serve 1.5 years in prison. So, yeah, society is messed. But anyways, guys, I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Actually, I'll be on later tonight. Or later today. So I'll see y'all today. Again, appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure you stick that follow button. Follow me on Twitter at Shopmaster. And I will see you guys tomorrow or later today. Peace.